and my wife.
She twisted her ankle on that welcome mat I got you, the one that said.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, she was mad at you.
We are live. You guys are all set to start.
All right.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the May 2nd, 2022 Orange, Connecticut Zoning Board of Appeals. Before I begin, I'd like to introduce all the members with us today. To my right is Kathy Bradley, who's a member, Attorney David Crow, and online we have Pat Panza. You hear us, Pat?
I got you.
Okay, my name's Noah Eisenhandler. We normally have 5 members. We have 4. 4 is a quorum. So you do have, and you need 4 positive votes for your variance to pass. So you do have the option of continuing today's case until we have a full board, which could be next week, next month, or it could be the month after. Or, and I'll ask you when you come up here, you can't continue on with tonight's board members, but you will need 100% approval in order for your variance to be granted. Okay, let me just read the official town notice to appear one time on Monday, April 18th, 2022, and one time on Monday, April 25th, 2022. Orange Zoning Board of Appeals, legal notice. Notice is hereby given that the Orange Zoning Board of Appeals will hold a meeting on May 2nd, 2022 at 7 p.m. at the Orange Town Hall, 1617 Orange Center Road. Conduct a public hearing on the following. Petition number 1824 submitted by Joshua and Ira Dickinson for property known as 710 Derby Milford Road for the construction of a 700 square foot addition and modification of existing porch. A variance of section 383-30, parentheses A, setback from street line is requested. Petition number 1825 submitted by Daniel and Jessica Nichols for property known as 482 Orange Center Road for construction of an 864 square foot detached garage. Variances of section 383-30 in brackets B and bracket C, setback from rear and other property line is requested, as well as section 383-31, brackets B, maximum ground coverage. Application materials are on file at the Orange Zoning Office. A copy of this notice has been filed with the Orange Town Clerk, dated Orange, Connecticut, this 14th day of April, 2022. Noah Eisenhandler, Chairperson, Orange Zoning Board of Appeals. Okay, before we begin, first thing I want to do is ask, I didn't introduce Deb Satonic and Bonnie Shat, who are with us tonight, and of course Jack Tismerig, who's our zoning enforcement officer here in Orange. Before I begin, as the members who are present and online have an opportunity to review the minutes of March 7th, 2022, and if so, is there a motion to accept them as written? Is there a motion to accept them as written? David makes the motion. Kathy seconds it. All in favor say aye. Aye. Pat, you awake?
Yes, aye.
Okay, thank you.
So just to be clear on that, because Kathy was not at the last meeting.
Sorry.
Right.
So we can have 3 positive votes
3 positive votes.
and then
And
1
I'll be-
abstention, and it will still count as quorum because we have 4
I was
votes.
just gonna say,
The
I will
abstention does
abstain.
count, absolutely.
So
Just so we are clear for the
But
record.
thanks for the vote.
we're here in spirit.
All right.
All right. Having said that, the first matter we have is petition 1824, Joshua and Irva Dickinson. Are you present? Come up, sir. Please identify yourself.
Can I ask a process question?
Sure.
If he decides to go with just this board and we don't approve, does he have a chance to come back?
No. Well, he has a chance, there's a process in which he could come back.
Not with the same
but not
exact
the same
application.
exact- It's gotta be a different
Right.
I
application.
just wanna make sure that's clear for him.
No, I'm about to do that.
Oh, good.
You understand that we have 4 members, you need 4 positive votes for your variance to be passed.
Yes.
And you have the right to ask to be continued until we have 5 members, then you only need 80% to get it passed.
I understand.
All right, you going forward today?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
What do you want to tell us, sir?
Okay, my name is Robert G. White Jr. I am with Rob White Architect, LLC of 441 Oxford Road, Suite 3A in Oxford, Connecticut. Legal address 579 Bethmore Road, Bethany, Connecticut. I'm here on behalf of Arena and Joshua Dickinson, my clients. I am working as their architect and agent for this application tonight. So I am here before you to request 2 variances for this property located at 710 Derby Milford Road, which has been their home for about a decade. And the first and main variance request that we're looking for is a front yard setback requested of 29 feet, and that is for our main addition project positioned at the rear corner of the house. The second request is for a five to allow a five front setback to allow a front porch roof to be built over the existing front stoop. So we have separated, we have intentionally separated those requests and respectfully ask that if the zoning board can rule on each of them independently, so not as a whole. So the main request is the rear addition. So as far as, you know, just to touch on the hardships in the application and some alternatives, we have identified this existing house. It's an old farmhouse built in 1888. It certainly predates the adoption of zoning regulations in the town of Orange, and is located very close, you know, by the surveyor's map and to mapping to Derby Milford Road. It is, you know, a traditional old farmhouse. It's had some work done to the back. The survey map indicates and shows that virtually the entire main house is within the front yard. So there is a small entry form which was added at some later date, possibly an old porch unknown, that's on the back corner of the house, which is the only part of the existing house. And you can see that in the pictures that were attached in the application. So at this time, I do want to submit a couple other pieces of information for your consideration. So, and these are essentially, there's a map here, which is essentially the same as the map that you have already in your packet. There are some additional photographs at the end of this. Some of them are the ones you already have in your packet, and there's some visualization of the addition, just so you can understand the application
Thank you.
in three-dimensional form, and also, and so you can understand the scope of the work and what the project entails. So, again, the front page in this handout is essentially the same as in your packet. So the second page has the floor plans of the house. The grade shaded walls and room names are labeled, which are your existing plans. The blue shaded area are the additions. Just for your orientation, Derby Milford Road is on the right-hand side of the sheet. So it's rotated from the site plan. So Derby Milford Road is on the right side. The front of the house is facing the right side of the sheet. The left side is the back. So on the left side of our ZBA2 drawing, you see the rectangular addition at the back, which is largely a you know, one-story addition. And then on the second floor plan on the right, you see the additions scaled back within the confines of the rear exterior wall, and one of the bump outs on the side bay that projects off to the right side of the house. On the first floor plan, you see a striped blue pattern. That's just indicating generally in the existing house where there's going to be a renovation area. And then lastly, for the second request, very close to Derby Milford Road, on the far right side on the second floor plan, it's shown because it's a roof. The first floor already has an existing stoop in this, and so the roof in the 5-foot setback request that we are looking for is literally built over this existing stoop. This is not an entirely new structure, it's just a roof. As you can see, the pictures submitted on the third page, and I believe also they're included in the application packet. There's some pictures of the front of the house. You see the front door. There's no intent to move the front door. It's literally to give it some weather protection. And you can see in the pictures why there's ice and snow on it. So the house does sit back further from Derby Milford than the mapping shows. There's you know, maybe twice as much grass lawn. It's just that the right of way for Derby Milford is wide and encroaches on what, you know, appears to be the front yard. So the property line is closer to the house, although you can see from the pictures there is some distance between the paved road and the front of the house there.
I congratulate you on your visual. It's really impressive.
The bottom, I wanted to give the board just a glimpse of it, just because I'm aware of the second variance and the 5 foot. It's, and that's really the large old house and preserving it. So it's, what we've shaded is just the blue area. The blue area is on the 3Ds, so you can see the white is the old farmhouse, the antique farmhouse. So I'm just gonna touch on the 3 pictures on the bottom. So you should be on your ZBA 3 sheet. So the bottom left one titled Proposed Front Porch Roof, it's literally a roof and columns going down to the existing step, just to, as you can see, mitigate some of that snow removal. They have a hard time using this front entrance. There's also, from a design point, a psychological component, very important to design, that they step out on their front and with no sense of shelter roof, there's a feeling of exposure to the road, so.
Just,
Sure.
I just wanna make something clear. The steps that already appear there they're going to be sheltered by the new roof.
Correct, right.
You're not putting any new steps, so
Right.
there's already a
There's
structure in that area.
Correct.
You're just looking to roof it.
Right, so on the top of that 3rd sheet where it says existing front, the top center right picture, you see it's a kind of a straight-on view
Yep.
of the house, the red door. Those steps, that's an approximate 4 feet and change out from the house. It's 8 feet wide, and there's 2 12-inch steps that come off there. And it's in good condition. It's a masonry structure, it's just,
Right.
it's unprotected.
You've got 3 concrete steps that already exist, and you're just looking to cover.
Right, this is, as I said, this is, and again, the request back to hardship, back to the board, looking to me at options as the designer. There's no intent to relocate the front door, that's why I'm showing the plans. It would radically change the house, circulation paths, et cetera, disruption on the site. And also to boot, not that this is in a historic district like you have here in the center of town, but there's not many antique homes left in Orange. And as a historic preservation architect, it's something I'm sensitive to, so. So moving around the bottom picture of the 3D, again, the one that's rotated so you see the front roof and now you see a glimpse of the back is just to show you that for the most part, we're keeping the addition, the main request, behind the existing house from the front view. It is also planted here, so you can see that in the pictures. Again, back up to that existing front picture, there's some heavy plantings there. The right side of the lot line to the closest neighbor is also pretty well buffered. You can see on the site plan, there's a 94-foot distance from the side yard, and it's also heavily planted to exposure to neighbors in public way. And then the last picture on the bottom right is the just the view, the visual in the back that most of the addition is 1 story. It's said the 2nd floor. Just for the board's information, the expansion is being driven by the need to expand the kitchen family area. That's why there's that center picture on this handout. So you can, that is literally a room, a picture of the room in the back. So the kitchen is where the wall gets removed, open up to the addition. So this is the entire kitchen family room in this house. There is a small living room in the front of the house. By relative modern standards, the house is a classic farmhouse. The spaces aren't overly huge. On the 2nd floor, it's a family of 4. They're sharing a bathroom. So the addition on the 2nd floor is a bump out of the existing bedroom, which has no closet in it, and to create a master bath for the owners. There's no additional bedrooms or additional rooms sneaking in. It's just it's a, not a family of babies, but teenagers, young kids, so.
I just wanna, we got Pat who can't see this. You're not changing the height of the house, correct? It's still just gonna be 2 stories.
Correct.
And basically from the, my apologies. Basically from the front of the house, you won't see much of this addition, will you, from the road?
Correct, that's,
Just on the
Bump
first
out.
floor, you'll see a little bump out.
Right.
But on the 2nd floor addition, you won't be able to see it.
right,
from the road,
that's
correct?
what we're showing the floor. On the 2nd floor,
Okay.
we're staying within the confines of the back
Right.
corner that's kind of carved out.
And I see on your A2 survey, you show the 50-foot building setback line. Obviously, you're before zoning, and if you got an 1800s house. The house appears to almost be entirely built, as you pointed out, in the 50-foot line, or inside the 50-foot line. Looks like you're actually going backwards. You're actually will now have a piece of the house that's past the 50-foot line with the addition.
Yes, and I cannot underscore the importance of separating should the zoning board decide to rule not in favor of the separation of the 5-foot request on the front. I cannot stress the importance of that because our main request is not requesting any more. In other words, the existing house is already beyond our request. Understanding state statute and a fellow zoning person myself.
Have some
so-
confidence. Have some confidence.
Yeah. So, I want to just address any alternatives if the board has any questions. Obviously, looking at anything building towards the front would just be, right on top of Derby Milford Road. I'm now talking about the main addition portion. Anything building to the left side would encroach, driveway circulation. In the right side is, the septic system is further away. B100A was updated by these current owners a little while ago. And then the septic system is in the rear of the lot. There's also a pond on the property, so forth. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
The question is follows that front entrance. I understand you're having that as a separate part of this request for variance. The front stairs, has it been checked for suitability to support the structure?
Yes. Yeah, and the roof was also designed as a bracketed roof form, hinging off the existing house. So we are showing the post going down as the more stringent one from your point of view.
Yeah. So in other words, because a lot of times when they built those stoops, they were not obviously down 42 inches.
Right.
So what happens now? It's not a problem when it's a free-floating structure as it's existing. So what the concern would be, obviously, is uplift. So with that being said, that would be coming in the building portion of it, in the building department. But the point is at the end of the day, this would be an enclosure. In other words, this would be an enclosed area with a door to the front of this structure.
Just a roof.
No, yeah, it is an open port, and we're not intending to change the door. We're not intending to enclose
an
the
overhang.
front stoop. As I said, the columns coming down are more from a 3D impact, me just being transparent with you, from, the building jurisdiction and structural load, that being in the building department's jurisdiction. I myself can ask for approval to have the porch roof fully supported by the wall of the house and bracketed and anchored with ledger boards. So
Yeah, understood.
Right,
And then in the worst
in
case
other words, the
scenario, you have
columns.
to underpin the stairway. So, okay, that's my only question. Thank you.
All right, any other questions for this gentleman? All right, anything else, sir?
What's that?
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else wish to speak? I don't see anybody, obviously, but anybody else wish to speak in support of the application? Anybody who wishes to speak opposed to the application? No response? I move that we close the public aspect of this meeting.
Second.
Second, all right. It's actually, it's a unique piece of property. It's the way it's situated because it predates zoning, everything's up front. So you really can't, do much with it, but, seems like a hardship to me on both ends of it. I'm not too concerned about a roof aesthetically, I think that's fine, a couple feet there. What do you think, David, anything?
I got all my questions answered. I'm ready to vote.
Anybody else have any other questions or comments? All right, so is there a motion to grant both variances?
I make a motion to grant.
Kathy makes a motion to grant both variances.
I'll second.
David second. Deb, you want to call the roll?
Oh, yeah, sorry. Noah?
I usually go last.
You go last. I'm sorry. I'm rusty. Sorry. Kathy?
I approve.
Pat?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Noah?
Yes. You're approved, sir, but before you leave, I forgot to make a public service announcement before we leave. I don't want to lose him, because You want to make an announcement about your roses?
Oh, yes.
For those of
So
you on
Rotary
TV.
is selling roses. We do service projects for the town, right? And so I would encourage everyone to buy their roses, $20 a dozen through Rotary. You can go online, pull up the application, buy them, or give me $20 and I'll see they're delivered to your house.
All right, Mr. White, you're all set. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, next application is number 1825, David and Jessica Nichols for the property known as 482 Orange Center Road. Council, identify yourself for the record.
Good evening. For the record, Kevin Kersaden. My office is at 3 Lafayette Street in Milford. With me tonight is Dan and Jessica Nichols.
Could you spell your last name for the record, please?
Curseaden.
Thank you.
The application is for the three stated variances. I did some research on this lot. This lot is not originally, in addition to being severely undersized for the zone, 29,000 square feet where 60,000 square feet is required. This lot, interestingly, is not on any known subdivision map. But what it is, it's kind of a leftover parcel from two different subdivision maps that created lots on Poplar and Courier over the years. So those maps are referenced on the survey. But so I think that the net impact of that with respect to the variance request is that, number one, you probably had a lot that just wasn't, that the house was built in 1955. So you had a lot that was never really officially or formally created. So a builder probably came in and asked for a building permit on it. And so from the beginning, this lot has been a pre-existing non-conforming parcel, which was turned into a building lot. So it doesn't have one of the protections that it could have had if it was a subdivision lot on a subdivision map is that it could have had a protection of the coverage, for example, which is one of the variances we're asking for tonight. It would have been protected because the lot would have been created on a certain date, and the coverage regulations used to be less than they are now for this type of zone. So that's one example. So the main legal hardship is the size of the lot. The other part of it is that, and this board understands this, is that although not a legal hardship, it drives where you can place things on the lot after something's already built. So primarily, the septic field is in here. So the house originally was set back from the road 75 feet where 25 feet required, right? So that limits where you can place any other additional structures. So even if when we looked at an alternative, if you were gonna say, well, why do you need a 3-car garage? Could you make it a 2-car garage? It doesn't impact, you're still gonna need, because of the location of the septic, location of the house, location of the existing driveway, and the fact that there is a significant, I don't know how significant of a grade it is, but it's a difficult driveway to back out of onto Orange Center Road. So one of the necessities is that the vehicle will still be able to turn around so that someone can pull out, and I can.
Safety issue.
It is a safety issue, yeah. My client shared with me if I can find the photo, shared with me some photos. I'll find them in a minute. So it leaves to really only one location for the garage, which drives the rear yard and the side yard setback variance request, and that's the hardship. And then with respect to the coverage, like I said, it's less than half the size of the required lot for the zone. So, and it was not created on any subdivision map that would have afforded it that protection of the coverage that the board has heard from and maybe some other applications. My client's here. I think she'd like to say a few words about what they're looking to do, or just explain the project a little bit better, or their reasonings for the project. Jessica, if you want to come up.
I think I see one of them.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
I have a sidekick.
One thing I forgot to ask.
Yes.
You realize there's only 4 members?
Yes.
And that you waive the right to come back and wait for the 5th member?
Yes, we had that discussion.
Okay.
And this is just the difference. The first photo is my client pulling out of the driveway forward, and this is the view as he backs out of the driveway onto Orange Center Road. So it's really, they really need the space to also turn around and be able to pull the cars out forward. I'll just put these into the record. Thanks.
Nice. Ma'am, what do you want to tell us? You just put your name and address for the record.
So I'm Jessica George Nichols. I've grown up in town. We now live on the same street that I grew up on, just in a different house. But when we bought our house, we made a commitment to the owners. We wrote them a letter that we really wanted to stay there. We planned to stay there for the long term. Well, since then, we've had now 5 children. So we have an existing 3-car garage that we're looking to make like shared family space, just so that we're not all on top of each other, and another bathroom, because I know the last person mentioned there's 4 people sharing a bathroom. We have 7 people sharing a bathroom. So we're eventually this garage space that we're going to be using. That's what it's for. So that's why we're we're just replacing what we have, just in a different location. So we have an existing 3-car garage that we use every inch of with
So
all
you
of.
got to convert that into living space.
Correct. And so we use the entire space, as you can imagine, with all of the bicycles and the gear and for everyone. So the detached garage that we're building is essentially a replica of what the space that we have existing. We're not looking for more space. We're not looking for a second floor or anything in it. It's purely to match what we have and replace what we're going to be using for family space. We did look I know that you guys had mentioned alternatives. We had looked with the designer about going off to leave it as an attached garage, but then that inhibited our ability to turn around in the driveway. And we've lived there now for 14 years. And it's we've had parties where people are leaving and it's scary. Like someone goes out into the road to stop because it's a state road. There are tractor trailers that come down the street. So backing out onto the state road it's a real safety concern. And then again, as Kevin had mentioned, the front yard, the septic is there. So we had talked about, if we could put like a circular driveway. It's not an option because of the where the septic system is. And also in the rear of the house, it's not really shown on this map, but because I mentioned adding living space, we can't go off the back of the house because there's a swale for drainage that it starts in the corner of this patio here, and it comes through this portion of the lot. So in order to build an addition off the rear of the lot of the building, to add living space that way, it would require a more extensive construction with like questionable like with water issue because of the swale that's there and how we would accommodate that. So
I wanna know who you got with you.
oh, this is our number 5, so she's about 8 weeks old.
And what's your name for the record?
Sophia.
Sophia for the record.
Yeah.
Yeah, put her in the record, she's
Yeah.
the first town meeting.
Yeah. 3rd generation Orangey.
How old is Sophia?
She's 8 weeks.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Any questions of this applicant? Sir, do you have anything to say? No, thank you very much. Probably too tired to say anything.
Oh yeah, he's tired.
Mother Day flowers. That's
where I'm going.
All right, counsel, what else you want to tell us?
That's it. Those are our stated hardships and the alternatives that they looked at.
All right, any questions?
So I want to make sure I understand. So they're going to take their existing garage
Yes,
and make it living space.
that is their plan,
And then
correct?
they're going to add another 3-car garage.
To replace the existing 3-car garage.
Well, it's not really to replace it because they're converting the
To replace the use of it,
Right.
not the space of it,
Right.
correct? Yeah.
Okay.
So I just wanna review, you have a half-acre lot, right? Or 3/4?
Yeah, a little bit over half acre, correct? Yeah.
And
0.6.
0.6, there you go.
0.6, okay,
Yep,
got it.
okay,
Anybody have any questions? All right, thank you.
okay, thank you.
Anybody wish, obviously no one here, but I sought to ask a question. Anybody else wish to speak in support of the applicant? Anybody wish to speak against the application? Did you get anything from any neighbors or anything, or any?
I had one woman stop in who was an abutting neighbor and received the notice in the mail, took a look at the plan, didn't have any problems, and said that she doesn't have any input.
Okay. Is there a motion to close the public portion of the meeting?
So moved.
David moves. Okay. We're closed. You know, it is a close call. I mean, it is kind of it's a small piece of property. I'm surprised because it's not an old house like the prior house, the prior farmhouse, but it is, you know, and to be honest, I went out there yesterday, and it's dangerous backing out onto the main street. I mean,
I pull out of Nan Drive, and I can wait 15 minutes
it's
just to pull out. I can cross that street, and you could put your life in your hands.
I don't know if that weighs towards a variance or not. It probably has nothing to do with a variance, but I could understand where they would want that. They need the space to do a turnaround from a safety issue. So, you know, it seems it is a unique piece of property, and that's what we have to make that finding.
Definitely unique. Won't find anything like that in Orange.
Yeah, it's not part of a subdivision. I mean, it's kind of.
That's, somebody parsed
that
off a
for-
piece and gave that to
piece
their
left.
son-in-law or
Yep.
something.
All right, anybody have any comments, questions?
I just have one question. What do they need to do to convert that garage to living space?
They would only need to pull building permits.
Yeah, they probably have to do
Zoning wise, because you're not expanding the footprint, they would just have to make sure that the health department, their septic is rated for whatever additional bedrooms they'd be including.
But that's all with the building department.
Building
Yeah,
and
Yeah,
health
nothing to do
department.
with us.
Yeah.
Okay.
What they want to, and his building stuff has nothing to do with us. We're
And just to
here for
point out,
variance.
this garage will also have to appear in front of the Plan and Zoning Commission for a special permit, just due to its size.
That's nothing to do with us.
Is Pat still with us? Pat, you
still there,
there?
right?
I already heard you. I'm all set. Thank you.
All right.
Okay,
All right, is there make a motion to approve, or
I'll make a motion to
David
approve.
makes a motion to
I'll
approve?
second.
Kathy seconds it.
Dave,
Yes.
Pat,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Noah,
Yes. Congratulations. Buy your flowers early and often.
Roses.
If anybody deserves them, it's you.
Good night, Sophia. Good night to the rest of
Good
you.
night, guys.
Good night, congratulations.
All right, is there any other business before the meeting, for the board? Motion to close?
I'll
David
move to
makes a motion,
close.
Kathy seconds it. Okay, we are done. Thank you all very much, and next month, do we have anything now?
Not as of right now, but I have emailed out some applications, so maybe that'll change.
All right,
Okay.
you're still on the air, though, so, want to make your public service announcement for the two people probably watching.
Yeah.